Welcome back to the Divine Frequency Online podcast. Today we're going deep diving into something really special.
Okay.
It's the world of mental health
Okay.
and how different cultures approach it.
Interesting.
And so we've got two amazing sources to help guide us today.
Okay.
One is a YouTube video just packed with personal experiences, and the other is actually a podcast outline.
Woo.
It's titled Cultural Perspectives on Mental Health Stigmas. It's going to be an eye-opening deep dive.
I think you're right.
I think so too.
It is incredible how much we can learn
Yeah.
from these diverse perspectives,
Right.
especially like the personal stories.
Yes.
It's about recognizing that mental well-being
Mm-hmm.
isn't a one-size-fits-all concept.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
What struck me most in the YouTube video
Okay.
was the sheer honesty of the individuals sharing their stories.
Yeah.
We had a Chinese-Australian individual, a West African Ghanaian individual,
Okay.
and a Muslim South African individual.
Wow.
I mean, their experiences were so unique,
Right.
but there are these powerful common threads.
Absolutely. Each person's cultural background
Yeah.
really played a huge role in shaping how they understood mental health,
Right.
both the challenges
Yeah.
and the support systems they found.
Yeah.
It's a reminder that, culture isn't just about traditions.
Right.
It deeply intertwined
Yes.
with our mental and emotional well-being.
Okay, so for example,
Yeah.
the Chinese-Australian individual
Okay.
talked about the struggle to find the right words
Wow.
in their native language
Uh-huh.
to discuss mental health.
That's a really good point.
I know, right?
Yeah.
That language barrier is a huge hurdle for many people
Yeah.
seeking help.
And it goes beyond just vocabulary, right?
Yes.
Language is really a reflection of cultural concepts and how we express ourselves within our communities.
It's so true.
So when someone struggles to articulate their mental health experiences in their native language, it can be incredibly isolating.
That makes me realize how important
Yeah.
culturally competent mental health services are.
Yeah.
Then there was the West African Ghanaian individual
Okay.
who found solace in friends confiding in them
Wow.
about their own mental health struggle.
So powerful.
It is powerful, right?
Yeah.
It's such a powerful example of the strength of peer support,
Yes.
especially in cultures where open discussions about mental health might be discouraged.
Yeah.
It creates a sense of shared experience and validation.
It shows you that you're not alone.
For sure.
Yeah.
But then the Muslim South African individual
Okay.
opened up about facing cultural stigmas,
Wow.
particularly for women,
Okay.
which prevent open conversation.
That's so sad.
I know.
Yeah.
About mental health.
Yeah. It's heartbreaking to hear
Yeah.
that those stigmas can be such barriers
Yes.
to getting help. It's
Yeah.
crucial to understand that cultural stigma is a complex issue,
Yes.
often rooted in a combination of historical context,
Yeah.
societal norms, and sometimes even religious interpretations.
Yeah.
These factors can make it incredibly challenging for individuals to speak openly about their mental health
Right.
without fear of judgment
Yeah.
or social isolation.
It really emphasizes the need for culturally sensitive approaches
Yes.
in mental health care.
Yeah.
Everyone deserves support without feeling judged
Yeah.
or misunderstood.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And it's not just about the individual.
Right.
It's about understanding the broader cultural context
Yes.
that influences how mental health is perceived and addressed within a community.
Speaking of community,
Okay.
even with these challenges,
Yeah.
there were glimmers of hope and resilience in the video
Oh, good.
that really moved me.
I was particularly struck by
Yeah.
how each individual highlighted the strengths of their culture and how those strengths could be leveraged to support mental well-being.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like the West African Ghanaian individual talked about the unifying power of community celebrations,
Yeah.
especially around soccer.
Ooh.
Their community's resilience in overcoming challenges
Yeah.
really stood out.
It shows how cultural traditions can foster a sense of belonging
Yes.
and support.
It does.
Yeah.
And those strengths can be incredible resources
Yes.
for individuals facing mental health difficulties.
Yeah.
The Chinese-Australian individual mentioned food
Okay.
as a way their culture brings people together,
Interesting.
especially when words are hard to find.
Right.
It may seem subtle,
Mm-hmm.
but it's powerful.
It is. It is.
Right.
It reminds us that cultural expressions of care and connection
Yes.
can take many forms,
Mhm.
and sometimes they're woven into everyday rituals.
That's right.
Sharing a meal,
Yeah.
participating in a cultural celebration. These acts can be incredibly nurturing.
They are.
Yeah.
For our mental well-being.
Yes.
It makes me think about how we can incorporate these cultural strengths
Yeah.
into our own lives,
Yeah.
even if we're not from those specific cultures.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's about being open to different ways of connecting
Yeah.
and supporting each other.
Absolutely. Learning about these diverse approaches
Yes.
really broadens our understanding of mental well-being
It does.
and helps us appreciate the richness of human experience.
And for anyone seeking guidance and support
Okay.
on their own mental health journey, I encourage you to visit etherealenergeticvibes.com.
Good idea.
It's a fantastic resource filled with information and tools to help you prioritize your well-being.
Yeah, it's like having a toolkit for your mental health journey.
Exactly.
With insights from different cultures
Yes.
and practical tips for self-care.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
It is a good one.
Yeah, it is a valuable resource.
Building on those strengths,
Okay.
the individuals in the video also shared some practical advice
Okay.
on coping mechanisms and seeking help.
Okay, cool.
One thing that stuck with me was the advice to find a trusted person
Yeah.
with experience in mental health
Right.
to confide in.
Yeah, that's huge.
It is, right?
Yeah.
It circles back to that sense of support being crucial.
Yeah.
Even if it's just one person you can truly open up to.
That suggestion aligns perfectly with the importance of seeking professional help.
Exactly.
When needed.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
it's about recognizing you don't have to navigate this alone.
Right.
And that there are trained professionals who can provide guidance and support.
And sometimes professional help might not be readily available.
That's true.
Or accessible.
Right.
Which makes having that trusted person even more crucial.
Exactly.
It's like having a safety net.
Indeed. And another individual in the video emphasized the therapeutic power of art and creative expression as a way to process emotions and avoid bottling things up.
It's such good advice.
It is.
Yeah, it's a good reminder that self-care takes many forms.
Yeah.
And finding healthy outlets for our emotions is essential.
Absolutely.
It's so true.
Yeah.
It reminds me of that saying,
Oh.
a burden shared is a burden halved.
Right.
Expressing ourselves through art,
Yeah.
music or writing can be incredibly cathartic and healing.
It can. It
Yeah.
speaks to the power of creative expression as a coping mechanism. Those activities can be powerful tools for processing our experiences and finding emotional release.
Okay, so let's shift gears a bit
Okay.
and talk about our second source,
Sounds good.
the Cultural Perspectives on Mental Health Stigmas podcast outline.
Okay.
It lays out a fascinating roadmap for exploring these nuances we've been discussing.
I think what's intriguing about this outline is how it provides structure to these important conversations.
It does.
Yeah, it moves from understanding cultural views to personal stories, barriers to care, and finally strategies for change.
It's like zooming out and seeing the bigger picture.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And what's amazing is how much of it connects back to those personal stories from the YouTube video.
Precisely.
So segment 1 of the outline focuses on how different cultures view mental health, which aligns perfectly with the stigmas mentioned by the Muslim South African individual.
It highlights how cultural beliefs and traditions can sometimes create barriers to understanding and addressing mental health.
Yes. And it's a call to examine those beliefs with a critical and compassionate lens.
Yes, absolutely.
And segment 2 emphasizes the importance of sharing personal stories, which we've already seen the power of in the YouTube video.
Yeah, those firsthand accounts are invaluable.
They are.
For breaking down stereotypes and fostering empathy.
Yes. They make these issues relatable and remind us that behind every statistic is a human being with a unique story.
So true.
And segment 3 delves into the barriers to mental health care, which resonates with the language challenges faced by the Chinese-Australian individual.
That's such a crucial point.
It is.
Access to culturally competent care is so important.
Yeah.
It's about ensuring that mental health services are sensitive to the cultural values, beliefs, and language needs of the individuals they serve.
Absolutely. Everyone deserves to feel understood and respected
Let's say too.
in their journey towards mental well-being.
Absolutely.
And finally, segment 4 of the outline focuses on strategies for change, which ties in beautifully with the individual's advice about seeking help and using creative outlets.
It's a reminder that we can all play a role in advocating for mental health awareness and supporting more inclusive approaches to care.
We can all be agents of change in our own way.
They can.
Whether it's by sharing our stories, supporting friends and family, or advocating for policies that promote mental well-being.
And it's about recognizing that creating lasting change requires a multifaceted approach.
It does.
It involves individual actions, community initiatives, and systemic changes within healthcare systems.
It's about individuals, communities, and systems all working together to create a more supportive and understanding environment around mental health.
Well said.
And for our listeners who are feeling inspired to explore these topics further, I highly recommend checking out etherealenergeticvibes.com.
It's an incredible resource.
It is.
Filled with insightful articles, personal stories, and practical tips for nurturing your mental well-being.
Yes, and it's a space where you can connect with others. Share your experiences and find support on your journey.
That's great.
So as we reflect on everything we've discussed, what stands out to you the most? What are your key takeaways from these diverse perspectives on mental health?
Well, for me, it's the reminder that there's no single right way to approach mental health.
Yes.
What works for one person or culture might not work for another, and that's okay.
I agree.
You know, it's about respecting those differences and finding what resonates with you personally.
I completely agree. And it's not just about finding what works for individuals. It's about recognizing that communities have their own unique ways of supporting mental well-being. Those cultural strengths, the traditions, the rituals and values can be incredible resources.
It's like a tapestry.
It is like a tapestry.
All these different threads woven together, creating this beautiful and complex picture of how we as humans navigate mental health.
I love that analogy. And I think it's also important to acknowledge that while we focus on the positive aspects of culture, there are times when cultural norms can be detrimental to mental health.
Absolutely.
It's about being critical and discerning, understanding that culture is a dynamic force.
It is.
That can both help and hinder.
It's about finding that balance, right? Embracing the positive aspects while also challenging those that might be harmful or perpetuate stigma.
That's a continuous process of learning and unlearning.
Exactly. And it's a process that requires open dialogue and a willingness to listen to diverse perspectives.
We have to, It's about stepping outside our own cultural bubbles and recognizing that there's always more to learn.
That's true.
We can't be afraid to have those uncomfortable conversations and to challenge our own assumptions.
Absolutely.
Because at the end of the day, we all share this common human experience of navigating our mental and emotional well-being.
Well said.
So that brings us to our final thought for today.
Okay.
How might understanding these diverse perspectives and cultural strengths inspire you to approach mental health in your own life and community?
You know what resonated with me was the power of finding those unique ways to connect and support each other. Whether it's sharing a meal, engaging in creative expression, or simply offering a listening ear. Those small acts of kindness can make a world of difference.
I think it also encourages us to be more mindful of our own cultural biases and how they might influence our understanding of mental health. It's about approaching these conversations with humility.
Absolutely.
And a willingness to learn.
It's about creating a space where everyone feels safe to share their experiences without fear of judgment.
And for anyone who's feeling inspired to learn more, I can't recommend etherealenergeticvibes.com enough.
That's a good one.
They have a wealth of resources on mental wellness, cultural perspectives, and practical tips for self-care.
It's an excellent starting point for anyone who wants to delve deeper into these topics and connect with a community that values diverse perspectives on mental well-being.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the world of mental health and cultural perspectives. We hope you've gained some valuable insights.
I think so.
And perhaps even a renewed sense of hope and connection.
It's been a pleasure exploring these important topics with you today.
And remember, you're not alone on this journey.
That's right.
There's support available, and there's always hope for more resources and to continue exploring these topics. Be sure to visit etherealenergeticvibes.com.
Until next time, take care and be well.
Thank you for listening to the Divine Frequency Online podcast.